Multiplication of integers. Multiplication of integers. We can add and subtract integers. Let us now learn how to multiply integers. That is, in the number line, here 0, we add 4 5 times. That is, we add minus 4 5 times. 0 to 4, 8 to minus 12 to minus 16 to minus 20. That is 5 into minus 4, we get minus 20. 4 into minus 8, we get minus 13. 10 into minus 44, we get minus 440. We thus find that while multiplying a positive integer and a negative integer, we multiply them as whole numbers. While we multiply a positive integer and a negative integer, we have to multiply them as whole numbers and put a minus sign before the product. Thus, for any two integers a and b, a into minus b equal to minus a into b equal to minus of a into b. That is, we put a negative sign to the product of these two integers. Thus, we get a negative integer. Multiplication of negative integers. Multiplication of negative integers. Let us observe this pattern. Minus 3 into 4 equal to minus 12. Minus 3 into 3 equal to minus 10. How we get minus 9? That is, minus 12 minus of minus 3 equal to minus 9. Minus 3 into 2 equal to minus 6. That is, minus 9 minus minus 3. That is minus 6. The answer is minus 6. This 9 minus 9 plus 3 equal to minus 6. Minus 3 into 1 equal to minus 3. That is minus 6 minus minus 3. That is 6 minus minus 6 plus 3 equal to minus 3. That is the answer. Minus 3 into 0 equal to 0. That is minus 3 minus minus 3. That is minus 3 plus 3 equal to 0. Minus 3 into minus 1, we get plus 3. 0 minus minus 3. That is 0 plus 3 equal to plus 3. Minus 3 into minus 2, we get 6, positive 6. Minus 3 into minus 2, we get plus 6. That is 3 minus minus 3 equal to 3 plus 3 equal to 6. Here positive 6 is the answer. Minus 3 into minus 3 equal to 9. That is 6. 6 minus minus 3 equal to 6 plus 3 equal to 9. Observing these products, we can say that the product of two negative integers is a positive integer. The product of two negative integers is a positive integer. We multiply them as whole numbers. And put a positive sign before the product. That is, in general, we can say for any two positive integers, a and b, minus of a into minus of b equal to a into b. That is, we multiply them as whole numbers and put a positive sign to the product. That is minus 50 into minus 100 equal to 5000. Product of 3 or more negative integers. We know that the product of two negative integers is a positive integer. Product of two negative integers is a positive integer. That is minus 3 into minus 4 equal to 12. What happens if minus 4 into minus 3 into minus 2? Let's check. Minus 4 into minus 3 is 12 into minus 2. The answer is minus 24. If there is more than 4 numbers, that is minus 5 into minus 4 into minus 3 into minus 2 into minus 1. That is minus 5 into, this is 12. 12 into, this is 2 equal to minus 5 into 24. That is minus 120. From the above, we find that the product of two negative integers is a positive integer. The product of three negative integers is a negative integer. The product of four negative integers is a positive integer. If the number of negative integers in a product is even, then the product is a positive integer. That is minus 2 into minus 1 equal to positive 2. If the number of negative integers in a product is odd, then the product is a negative integer. Properties of multiplication. Closure under multiplication. We know minus 20 into minus 5, we get 100. That is an integer. Minus 15 into 3, we get minus 45. It's also an integer. The product of two integers is again an integer. Thus, integers are closed under multiplication. I repeat, closure under multiplication. Closure under multiplication. Minus 20 into minus 5, we get 100. It is an integer. Here minus 15 into 3, we get minus 45. This is negative integer, but it's under integer. Negative or positive, it's also an integer. So, the product of two integers is again an integer. Integers are closed under multiplication. That is, in general, a into b is an integer for all integers a and b. We can generally mention it like a into b is an integer for all integers a and b. Commutativity of multiplication. We know 3 into minus 4, we get minus 12. Minus 4 into 3, we get minus 12. Minus 15 into minus 10, we get 150. Minus 10 into minus 15, we get the same answer. Thus, multiplication is commutative for integers. Multiplication is commutative for integers. In general, we can say for any two integers a and b, a into b equal to b into a. That is, 1 into 2 we get 2 and 2 into 1 we get 2. That is, a into b equal to b into a. We get the same answer. This is known as commutativity of multiplication. Multiplication by 0. Any whole number when multiplied by 0 gives 0. That is, if we multiply any whole number with 0, we get the 0. The answer is 0. If we multiply the whole number 4 with 0, we get 0. If we multiply the whole number 23 with 0, we get 0. That is, if any whole number is multiplied by 0, gives 0 itself. Like that, the product of negative integers and 0 is 0. Thus, if we multiply the negative integer minus 3 with 0, we get 0. Minus 6 with 0, we get 0. In general, we can say for any integer a into 0, we get 0. That is 0 into a. A into 0 equal to 0. 0 into a is also 0. That multiplicative identity of integers. We know that 1 is the multiplicative identity for whole numbers. 1 is the multiplicative identity for whole numbers. Whole numbers means if we multiply any whole number with 1, we get the same number itself. 0 multiplied by 1, we get 0 itself. If we multiply 100 with 1, we get 100. So, 1 is the multiplicative identity for whole numbers. Here, these are the product of integers. We multiply minus 3 into 1, we get minus 3 itself. We multiply 5 with 1, we get 5 itself. Thus, 0 is the additive identity, whereas 1 is the multiplicative identity for integers. 0 is the additive identity. That is, if we add an integer with 0, we get the integer itself. And 1 is the multiplicative identity for integers. That is, if we multiply any integer a with 1, we get the integer itself. This is known as additive identity and multiplicative identity. 0 is the additive identity for integers and 1 is the multiplicative identity for integers. Associativity for multiplication. Consider the integers minus 3, minus 2 and 5. Minus 3, minus 2 and 5. If we group the first two integers, that is minus 3 and minus 2, and multiply them first, and we get a result 6. Then we multiply 6 with 5. We get the answer 30. Next, we group the integers minus 2 into 5. Minus 2 and 5. The product is minus 10. We multiply minus 10 into minus 3. The result is 30. Does the grouping of integers affect the product? No. That is, in general, for any three integers a, b and c. For any three integers a, b and c, a into b multiplied by c equal to a multiplied by b into c. That is, the product of three integers does not depend upon the grouping of integers. The product of three integers does not depend upon the grouping of integers, and this is called the associative property for multiplication of integers. That is, if we multiply like this, if we multiply these first two integers in a group and then multiply it with the third integer, we get a product d. If we multiply or group the second two integers b into c and multiply its product with a, then also we get the answer d. That 2 into 3 into 4, we get 6 into 4 equal to 24. Like that, 2 into 3 into 4. We get 2 into 12 equal to 24. Distributive property of multiplication. 16 into 10 plus 2. We can write it as 16 into 10 plus 16 into 2. We get the answer 160 plus 32. The final answer is 192. Here is another example. Minus 2 into 3 plus 5. That is minus 2 into the sum of these two integers. That is 8. We get minus 16. In another way, minus 2 into 3 plus minus 2 into 5. We get minus 6 plus minus 10. The answer is minus 16. Distributivity of multiplication over addition is true for integers. Distributivity of multiplication over addition is true for integers. In general, for any integers a, b and c, a into b plus c equal to a into b plus a into c. Distributive property of multiplication over subtraction. Here 4 into 3 minus 8 equal to 4 into 3. 4 into 3 minus 4 into 8. That is 12 minus 32. We get minus 20. 4 into 3 minus 8 equal to 4 into minus 5. The answer of 3 minus 8, we get minus 5. 4 into minus 5, we get minus 20. The answer is same. That is, for any three integers a, b and c, a into b minus c is equal to a into b minus a into c. That is, the distributive property of multiplication over subtraction is true for integers also.